Call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Baker.
Here.
Commissioner Beck.
He's not with us right now.
Commissioner Chauncey.
Here.
Commissioner Eversole.
Here.
Commissioner Graham.
Here.
Dr. Highlander.
Here.
Dr. Mackey.
Here.
Commissioner Sharp.
Here.
Commissioner Shipley. Chairman Helton.
Here. Our invocation and pledge will be done by Dr. Highlander.
Please rise for the invocation. Let's pray. Great God in heaven, we thank you for the many blessings that you've given us in this county, in this state, in this country. Lord, we owe so much to you. Father, your wisdom is so infinitely greater than ours. Lord, give us your wisdom so that we can make the rules and the regulations and the care of our people. Lord, let that be our first and foremost consideration, Lord, in everything that we do. Lord, bless the elections that are coming up. Put your people that you want in the office and help us to choose properly. These things we pray in Jesus' sweet and holy name. Amen. Please render the proper salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, we have minutes that need to be entered into the record for July 1st recess meeting and July 1st agenda meeting. What's the will of the commission?
Move to approve. Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Sharp, second by Commissioner Baker. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Baker.
Yes.
Commissioner Beck. Commissioner Chauncey.
Yes.
Commissioner Eversole.
Yes.
Commissioner Graham.
Yes.
Dr. Highlander.
Yes.
Dr. Mackey.
Yes.
Commissioner Sharp.
Yes.
Commissioner Shipley. Chairman Helton.
Yes. Motion passes. Madam Clerk, we have 3 reports to enter into the record.
Will do, Chairman.
Thank you. That takes us to resolutions. This committee of the whole. Madam Clerk, could you read 726-17?
Resolution 726-17, a resolution to approve and accept applications for notary public positions, the bonds and oaths of notaries previously elected, the oath of deputy county clerk, the official bond of public administrator, and the certificate of discharge by the Board of Equalization.
Motion to approve.
Second.
No lots, no one standing. Roll call, please.
Got a motion by
Sharp?
Sharp, second by Dr. Highlander.
Yes.
Commissioner Baker.
Yes.
Commissioner Beck. I'm sorry, I'm gonna get it straight. Absent. Commissioner Chauncey.
Yes.
Commissioner Eversole.
Yes.
Commissioner Graham.
Yes.
Dr. Highlander.
Yes.
Dr. Mackey.
Yes.
Commissioner Sharp.
Yes.
Commissioner Shipley. Chairman Helton.
Yes. Resolution 726-17 passes. Madam Clerk, could you read 726-18?
Resolution 726-18, a resolution confirming the reappointment by the county mayor of Todd Lehman to the Southeast Tennessee Solid Waste Planning Region Board for a term ending July 21st, 2031.
Move to approve.
Motion Highlander and
Second.
Commissioner Graham is the second. No lots, no one standing. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Baker.
Yes.
Commissioner Beck. Commissioner Chauncey.
Yes.
Commissioner Eversole.
Yes.
Commissioner Graham.
Yes.
Dr. Highlander.
Yes.
Dr. Mackey.
Yes.
Commissioner Sharp.
Yes.
Commissioner Shipley. Chairman Helton.
Yes. Motion passes. 726-18. Madam Clerk, could you read 726-27?
Resolution 726-27, a resolution authorizing the Office of Economic and Community Development to apply for a grant from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration Medication-Assisted Treatment Prescription Drug and Opioid Addiction Program, not to exceed $3,750,000, a total of up to $750,000 per year for 5 years, requiring no match.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Mackey, second by Commissioner Chauncey. No lots, no one standing.
No match.
Roll call.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Baker.
Yes.
Commissioner Chauncey. Commissioner Eversol,
Yes.
Commissioner Graham,
Yes.
Dr. Highlander,
Yes.
Dr. Mackey,
Yes.
Commissioner Sharp.
Yes.
Commissioner Shipley, Chairman Helton.
Yes. Motion passes. Madam Clerk, could you read 726-28, please?
Resolution 726-28, a resolution to accept a state justice technical assistance grant for the General Sessions Court in the amount of $75,000 with a required cash match of $7,500 with the National Center for State Courts to support docket improvements and court modernization, and to amend the General Sessions Court revenue and expenditures budgets, and to execute all related documents to the resolution.
Motion by Commissioner Graham, second by Commissioner Shipley. No lights. Would you like to speak on this? Okay, then roll call, please.
Commissioner Baker,
Yes.
Commissioner Chauncey, Commissioner Eversol.
Yes.
Commissioner Graham.
Yes.
Dr. Highlander.
Yes.
Dr. Mackey,
Yes.
Commissioner Sharp,
Yes.
Commissioner Shipley, Chairman Helton.
Yes. 726-28 passes. Madam Clerk, could you read 726-29?
Resolution 726-29, a resolution approving the purchase and installation of mobile ambulance routers and associated equipment amounting to $150,480.48 from RCN Technologies from the Omnia Partners Purchasing Corporative for the Emergency Medical Services Department, and authorizing the county mayor to sign any contracts necessary to implement this resolution.
Move for approval.
Motion by Commissioner Baker, second by Commissioner Highlander. No lights, no one standing. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Baker.
Yes.
Commissioner Chauncey,
Yes.
Commissioner Eversol.
Yes.
Commissioner Graham. Dr. Highlander.
Yes.
Dr. Mackey.
Yes.
Commissioner Sharp,
Yes.
Commissioner Shipley, Chairman Helton.
Yes. 726-29 passes. If you don't mind, would you read 726-30?
Resolution 726-30, a resolution to adopt the property tax freeze program with a local option income limit using census data, which adjusts the limit in all subsequent years by the annual cost of living adjustment for Social Security recipients on all applications for the senior tax freeze program and each year going forward.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Graham, second by Commissioner Shipley. Oh, there you go. Commissioner Eversole?
Yeah, thank you. I guess this got added late.
This was an item that we set to revisit at a certain date, where we passed a resolution, sent it to the state legislature. It has not been acted upon. I don't know if it's going to be acted upon, and this is the date it was supposed to be revisited.
Okay. Yeah, I was just kind of, it wasn't on the Monday's agenda that we received, so. But it is today. So I'd like to get more information about it. So if Commissioner Sharp, Chairman, is it okay? Commissioner Sharp can. Walk us
Sure,
through.
Commissioner Chauncey had a lot on. I was gonna let him.
I'll wait.
Okay. Commissioner Sharp?
Sure, and I may have more comments in a moment on this. I brought this resolution months ago, and I think July 15th kind of snuck up on all of us. I was not anticipating this resolution being on the agenda today until I was sitting in the parking lot earlier. You know, I've got a lot of thoughts around it. I still contend that seniors in Hamilton County, particularly low-income seniors, after all of the recent assessments and inflation that we've experienced, tremendous inflation that we've experienced over the last couple of years, need peace of mind that their property taxes are not going to price them out of their home. That's why I brought this resolution originally. And I still contend that that is the case. I appreciate also the consensus that this commission came to previously to send a private act to the state of Tennessee to help expand eligibility to a higher income level for senior tax relief. I was really hopeful that would get some traction in Nashville. I don't know. I've not heard a report back as to the progress of that. I would be interested to know. I don't know. Maybe our mayor could speak to that. Our lobbyist now, as to I mean, I don't even think we had a sponsor. Did we get a sponsor for this legislation?
Mr. Mayor?
To my knowledge, the answer to that question is no.
Well, Mayor, how did the conversations go around, the possibility of getting a sponsor for this legislation? What type of feedback did we get?
Commissioner, with all due respect, it was your resolution. So I mean, I could ask the same question of you in terms of how conversations went advocating for your resolution and one that this commission passed to the legislature. My understanding was that it would have had statewide impact. What was asked of the legislature was a private act, but it was a private act that if you would have applied it here, it would have only been appropriate, if I were to imagine the position of a state legislator, to do that statewide, which would have come at a significant expense. And given the timing of this commission passing that request for a private act, that's not a point in time in a legislative session where an amount of money of that size is typically able to be reallocated.
What was I don't remember what the fiscal note is. Is there a fiscal note to the state on this?
There would have been a fiscal note to the state, but because it was not introduced, I don't think we know that fiscal note. I'm sure we could do some math through finance and report back on what that would be. But I think that was one of the challenges with the significant change, is it would have made many more people eligible in this county. I'm sure that a private act like that would then be desired in every other county in Tennessee, necessitating the state to allocate not just the money for Hamilton County, but for the other 94 counties. I think that is probably why it did not get traction. It was a non-traditional private act in that sense, is that most private acts that we request would not have a fiscal note, at least the ones that I've been a part of with y'all.
Well,
I'm not
and
really sure what to say
to-
about that.
Well, and to his point, we did introduce this at the very end of the legislative session.
Right. So, I mean, was there any feedback from and I did not have these conversations with our state delegation, frankly. I mean, I'll just be honest with you. I'm not our lobbyist. I don't do that. That's not generally what commissioners do. I'm happy to have those conversations. But did you get any inclination that this may be something that would be of interest in future general assemblies?
I did not, but I will follow up on that point.
So basically, I guess, this resolution, as I understand it, would be most impactful if we were to have a tax increase. And I don't know if that's in the cards. But this is something that would need to be in place prior to the tax increase. If I may, Mr. Browner, ask our CFO,
Sure.
what is the timing required?
Again, this resolution would need to be passed by December 31st, 2026 to provide any immediate or any benefit to taxpayers, assuming there was going to be a tax increase next year. If there's not going to be a tax increase, there is no benefit to taxpayers at all. It's just a administrative additional cost of $350,000 or so we would have to pay. So in some ways, if you think there's going to be a tax increase, there is benefit to taxpayers of this resolution. If you do not think that or do not know, you can always defer to December 31st. And
Put it off
as
to
long as it's
31st.
passed prior to 12/31,
Thank
you
you.
could do something.
Commissioner Baker?
Yeah, I make them back.
Yeah, I think, I mean, based on the discussion of which we, first off, it's been quite a while ago. I frankly was surprised it was on my agenda because when I printed off and went over it on Monday, it was not there. So I'd like to either, Ms. Varnell, I mean, I don't know if we table it or we defer it to a date certain. What would be the best approach so that we have time to discuss this further so that we make a sound business decision?
My recommendation would be if you would like to address it further, to defer it to a date certain.
Okay. Then are y'all good with that or?
We've got a couple more
you have a
lights.
date? Okay, can we come back then?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Commissioner Shipley?
Yeah, I think I think I was the second. I'm gonna withdraw my second. Like I said, just took off. I thought this had been resolved. It happened. We got to December. If we want to do it, we got plenty of time. So I'm removing my second.
Ms. Varnell, would it be appropriate to set it to a date certain, our closest meeting until December 31st?
Well, as I understand Commissioner Shipley, he's now withdrawn his
Withdrawn.
second.
Okay, well,
So unless,
Commissioner Mackey? Yeah. Do we have another second? No?
I'll second it.
Okay. All right. So would it be appropriate to move it to a date certain?
if a commissioner wants to make that motion,
Yes.
that is appropriate.
Madam Clerk, what is our meeting closest to December 31st? While she's looking for that, Commissioner Mackey?
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to be on record that District 5, District 6 is not the only district where people needed relief on their taxes. And there's certainly plenty of people in my district that could benefit from it. Thank you, Chair.
Commissioner Sharp? Your light was back on.
Oh, I'm sorry, that was an accident.
Commissioner Eversole?
Yeah, my question is if, we're waiting on the legislative body in Nashville to give us response back. So I don't think giving us a date to revisit this, I'd almost rather to table it. And then once we get a recommendation back from Nashville on if they were able to change the act and give us the autonomy to do that, then we can do that at that point. So I make a motion to table it.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second.
Chairman,
Ma'am?
that date's December the 16th, 2026 on that motion to postpone.
Well, we have moved past that one. Thank you, though. Commissioner Highlander?
Correct me if I'm wrong, Madam Attorney. Tabling it required 2/3 majority to bring it back. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Well, we have a motion on the floor. No more lights. No one standing.
It's gonna.
Roll call.
Commissioner Baker?
Oh, we're voting on tabling.
7/26/30.
Correct.
It's not until December.
Roll call.
Commissioner Baker?
Yes.
Commissioner Chauncey?
No.
Commissioner Eversole?
Yes.
Commissioner Graham?
No.
Dr. Highlander? Dr. Mackey,
No.
Commissioner Sharp,
No.
Commissioner Shipley,
No.
Chairman Helton.
No.
Motion fails.
So we go back to the original motion. Commissioner Sharp.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Chairman.
Commissioner Chairman,
Yes.
a correction. Dr. Highlander announced
Oh, I'm-
pass. I need to come back
I'm
to
sorry,
him.
Dr.
My
Highlander?
apologies.
No.
I perceive a lot of reluctance on the board to move forward on this. And if I'm wrong, let me know. I see that. Today, passing this resolution, I do see how it could be perceived as premature. I would like to have more information about from our lobbyist that is supposed to be doing the work with Nashville to give us a report on how this comes back and the information that we get back. But understanding as previously, the resolution needs to be passed before the end of the year, prior to a year with a tax increase. I don't know if there'll be a tax increase, but if that is on the table in a year, I would like for this to be able to be discussed prior to protect the seniors who are struggling to keep up in this inflationary period that we're experiencing. So with respect to my colleagues and leaving our opportunities open to having this conversation at the end of the year before the end of the calendar year, if I'm not mistaken, our clerk stated that not the last meeting, but the last
voting
agenda
session.
meeting. What's that? The last voting meeting is the
Last
6th.
is the 16th,
And so the previous, the meeting prior to that
would be the agenda.
would be the agenda. So is it the 2nd?
Should be.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Right. I would make a motion that we defer the resolution to a point certain, being December 2nd,
We have a couple-
agenda meeting.
We have a couple more lots.
Okay. Do you want to?
I'd like to deal with them and sitting there for a moment and then.
Yeah,
come back
yeah.
to the motion, if that's okay.
Of course. Of
Commissioner
course.
Baker?
Yeah, I was gonna bring back my original thought of deferring to December 2nd. So I'll second that if that's appropriate.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Graham?
I think it's appropriate to move to December since we're in a budget cycle. It's gonna lock the rates in where they're at now. And as Commissioner Mackey said, in District 11, I have a lot of people that this will help. And so I would like to have more details, and I would very much like to support this to help all the constituents that I have in District 11. So deferring it to December is probably the right thing to do. And then we can discuss it further. But I would also recommend, Mr. Chairman, that this get assigned, if not by you, by our other chairman, to committee, so this can be discussed before December.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Graham. I'll take that up with Commissioner Smith, Chairman Smith, and have him assign it. Commissioner Chauncey?
Thank you, Chairman. So I just want to piggyback what Commissioner Graham just mentioned, that obviously District 8, this could also have a big impact on my constituents. So, and I also agree, I would like to defer it, not table it, but defer it to December. So I'll be supporting that.
Thank you, Commissioner Chauncey. Commissioner Sharp?
So I go back to my motion to defer to date certain, being for the December 2nd agenda meeting, so that we can take this up prior to the end of the calendar year.
Okay, we have a motion? We have a
I
second.
think I seconded that already.
Okay, perfect. Commissioner Sharp made the motion, Commissioner Baker seconded.
And well, I guess we'll vote. I have more comment, but I'll reserve that.
Okay. No lights, no one standing. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Baker?
Yes.
Commissioner Chauncey?
Yes.
Commissioner Eversol?
Yes.
Commissioner Graham,
Yes.
Dr. Highlander.
Yeah.
Dr. Mackey,
Yes.
Commissioner Sharp.
Yes.
Commissioner Shipley. Chairman Helton.
Yes. Motion passes. That ends resolutions for the committee as a whole. We'll move on to committees. Finance and Budget, Commissioner Eversole.
Thanks,
I
sir.
could.
Madam Clerk, 726-19, please.
Resolution 726-19, a resolution to authorize the reallocation of funds within the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office fiscal year 2026 to 2027 budget.
Okay, second. We've had a lot of discussion on this for the last, seems like 3 meetings. So appreciate the motion and second.
No lights, no one standing. Roll call, please.
We've got a motion by Dr. Mackey and a second by,
Commissioner Baker.
thank you.
Sorry.
That's okay. Commissioner Baker,
Yes.
Commissioner Chauncey,
Yes.
Commissioner Oversaw,
Yes.
Commissioner Graham.
Yes.
Dr. Highlander,
Yeah.
Dr. Mackey.
Yes.
Commissioner Sharp,
Yes.
Commissioner Shipley. Chairman Helton.
Yes. Motion passes. That
Right.
handles all of finance and budget. Public Safety, Commissioner Beck, he's not here. Who is his second chair?
That would be me, Chairman.
Thank you.
Caught me off guard here.
Resolutions 20 and 21.
Okay. Madam Clerk, would you please read 726-21, please? 20, please.
Resolution 726-20, a resolution to authorize the county mayor to enter into and execute a contract with the state of Tennessee, Tennessee Commission on Children and Youth to receive $40,000 to be used for the court-appointed special advocate program within the Hamilton County Juvenile Court.
Move to approve.
We have a motion by Commissioner Chauncey, second by Commissioner Graham. No lights. Mr. Mayor, do you have something to say on this one? Okay, no one standing. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Baker.
Yes.
Commissioner Chauncey.
Yes.
Commissioner Eversall,
Yes.
Commissioner Graham.
Yes.
Dr. Highlander.
Yes.
Dr. Mackey,
Yes.
Commissioner Sharp,
Yes.
Commissioner Shipley. Chairman Helton.
Yes. Motion passes.
All right, Madam Clerk, 726-21, please.
Resolution 726-21, a resolution authorizing the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office to apply for and accept through the Bureau of Justice Assistance the fiscal year 2026 Burn Discretionary Community Project and Grants Program and amending the Sheriff's Office capital outlay budget by $3 million.
I move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Chauncey, second by Commissioner Mackey. We have one light. Commissioner Graham?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm full support of this, but I got a question. If we do receive this $3 million grant, is, just for point of clarification, is there a match? No match? Sheriff's Department's shaking their head no? Okay. Just wanted to make sure that if we had to come up with a certain amount of money and time for that, so thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Daniels. No more lights? No one standing? Ladies, do y'all have something? Okay. Name and address for the record, please.
My name is Jessica Bonham. I live in District 4, Glass Farm. I haven't really prepared a speech for tonight, but I think that just because I come up here and I say the same thing every time, I really expect commissioners who are hired through our vote to represent our best interests to ask more questions when resolutions like this come on to the agenda. I wanted to remind you all that you work for us, not for the sheriff's office. $3 million, what is this being used for? Why are we not talking about that? Why are we not asking more questions? It's really disappointing to have to come up here and ask this question over and over and over again. I recognize that this grant is not coming from our county budget, so that does change the conversation in some ways, but $3 million is a lot of money for equipment or vehicles. I'm not even sure what that money is for. But the most concerning piece to me is when I researched this grant, the application date is today. The day to apply, the last day to apply is today. And if this resolution is giving the sheriff's office permission to apply, why is it happening on the same day? How is that possible? As someone who does a lot of grant writing myself, there's no way that I could submit a grant in one day, even if it is by invitation only. So that makes me wonder what conversations are not happening in the public view. if the sheriff's office can apply for a $3 million grant on the same day that it is potentially approved by the county commission, then what had to happen privately for that to move forward? That's all.
Thank you. Name and address for the record, please.
My name is Allie. I'm in District 2 off Mountain Creek Road. I am here today because I am a community member, a taxpayer, I'm a mental health therapist, and an advocate. I'm here because these decisions that you're making do not represent your constituents. They are funding the Sheriff's Department, which is part of a 287G contract, so in turn funding the deportation machine, which is tearing apart the families that make this county what it is. Last week, the Biden grant, that resolution was passed unanimously where they were able to then apply for more money towards immigration enforcement. The families in our communities are being traumatized and terrorized. People are being disappeared and kidnapped in front of their children. Children who go to school with your children and your grandchildren are being traumatized, are going to school hungry, depressed, with PTSD because their families went to the grocery store, because they went to do laundry, because they went to ride to work, where they have been working for 10, 20 years. These people are being taken and shipped without due process to other states where they are kept in horrific conditions, where they're not given enough food to survive unless they have outside money put on their accounts, which is not possible for so many families when the primary breadwinner was just taken from them. An election is coming up, and I believe that it is some of y'all's last time sitting in a July meeting because your decisions impacting budget are not representing your community members and are in fact destroying lives, terrorizing children, tearing apart the community members who make this place a place that I want to say with my full chest I'm proud to live in, but cannot right now because of the way that my neighbors, my loved ones are being treated. Every decision that is made for the sheriff's budget is a decision that impacts deportation because of the 287G contract, which was signed when it was still not mandatory. Every single decision made for the budget of the sheriff impacts the people who make our city what it is. And so these kinds of decisions being made for applying for $3 million, $3 million, which may just be towards the sheriff's department, but the sheriff's department is what is funneling our people into the deportation machine. Think about the harm that could be caused, the lives that could be ended when you vote for $3 million, for the ability to apply for $3 million, and know that we are watching, we are seeing this, and we are watching how you vote because we will be voting in just a few weeks, in just a few days. And this will be some of y'all's last meeting because of that.
Thank you, ma'am. No clapping, please. Name and address for the record.
Hello, my name is Viviana Ramos. I live in Orchard Knob. I'm here today because my community is being kidnapped. My families are being separated. Communities are being targeted, and something needs to change. People are tired of living every day feeling scared. Recently, the Hamilton County Mayor and Commissioners passed a budget for $1.4 million funding increase for the Sheriff's Office. Plus today, voting on a possible $3 million more. It is time for new leadership. My community is scared. They're getting kidnapped. Families are being torn apart. And what are you guys doing? Sitting here, letting it happen? Members of the community have been meeting. Discussions are being had. And people will show out to vote because Chattanooga is tired of this. We deserve a better Chattanooga. We need people who will actually represent us, who will actually stand with us and protect our communities. Because why are families being separated? Why are people being kidnapped? Because of the funding that is going directly to the sheriff's department. By all of you guys. So I ask you today, who are you serving? Are you serving ICE, the sheriff's department, or are you serving the people that actually count on you, people that will show up to vote for you? As far as we know this year alone, 21 people have died in ICE custody. 33 were reported last year, not to mention the amount of people murdered through enforcement. 10 people at least have been fatally shot. An open records request reveals that since January 1st, 117 people in Hamilton County have been arrested and turned over to ICE. In Hamilton County, which includes Chattanooga, 37 individuals were booked and released to ICE custody in June of 2026. Like I said, conversations are happening between leaders who will protect our community and who will stand against these racist policies. I'm tired of seeing my community members get kidnapped.
Thank you, ma'am. You're out of time.
And we should
You have,
all be
you have, we have 10 minutes total on any subject, so you've got 1 minute left.
Yes, sir. My name is Andrew McCormick, and I live at 501 Highview Circle, and I'm just here to back up both of their statements. $3 million is a lot of money, especially when we have people in this city that are going hungry that could use the resources. And also to kind of go off their point, they're being kidnapped off the street with no due process. Families are being torn apart. My friends, people are scared to go to school. We talk about being a good state and building upon our community. And this is where that starts, is by simply looking at these people as human, and also stop essentially deporting these people without any sort of due process. The people, diversity is what makes the city of Chattanooga great. And essentially, these people that are being taken off the street, they're not criminals. A lot of these people are families. A lot of these people are workers. A lot of these people are just human beings. While there, of course, is crime, a majority of these statements are infactual, and these are not criminals. These are people.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Commissioner Sharp, no clapping, please.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. I would just say I appreciate all the speakers that come in here and ask questions and bring forth their point of view. Diversity is our strength in the United States. I contend that and will continue to. But just real simple, can we ask Ron come up here and explain what this money is for? Chief Bernard?
Chief, would you mind?
Yeah.
Give us the Reader's Digest version of the.
Do that if you want.
If you'll, I'll put you on the list.
Sure. Ron Bernard, 600 Market Street. This grant is actually, it's purported as a grant through the state, but it's really state appropriation money to replace aging radios that are for all the officers and deputies. That's what this particular grant is funding.
Okay. Thank you, Chief.
Yes.
Yeah, that's.
Ma'am, we're not going to do that. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ron. Ma'am, we're not going to do that. Thank you. Ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. If you can't observe the rules.
I don't know how you guys can live with yourselves. People are getting kidnapped. Families are being separated. $3 million for radio, sure.
Commissioner Shipley.
I'm gonna respond to that. I read the paper every day, Chattanooga Times, Chattanooga, and pretty connected. I don't hear this going on. If that's going on, kidnapping people, we'd be hearing about it. Now, what we do know, as the sheriff has reported, the only time people are turned over to ICE is when they violate the law. Now, if you violate the law, any of us are going to end up in jail, no matter who you are or where you're from. But to discredit the sheriff's department like they're kidnapping and taking people away, I don't hear that. And I think we would. I think we would be under fire. From my knowledge of what the sheriff and his department do, if you're an illegal immigrant and you are charged with a crime, they're not going out here to box stores, job sites, and taking people and kidnapping them away. I've got to depend them on that. I've asked that question, and that is not true. That's all I got.
Dr. Mackey?
Thank you, Chair. I have to repeat what Commissioner Shipley said. I'm pretty tuned in to my community. And I listen to people, and people are confident enough to call me on the telephone or stop me in the store, rec center, whatever. You and I, we are in agreement as it relates to what we see about ICE. We don't want that in Chattanooga. And I got to tell you, I've got huge respect for what our Hamilton County Sheriff Department does. I looked at what Sheriff Hammond did. He did a really good job. I look at what Austin Garrett is doing. He's doing a good job, and he listens. We talk to him. I trust what he say to me. I trust what he say to me. And until I see something else, I see a fact, or if I see a picture or report from the media, I'm going to think a lot of what has been said today is representative of what's going on around the country. But I don't see it in Hamilton County. And if anybody has any information, I would love for them to share it with me, because I have a documented history of having press conferences, press reports with the media, with the sheriff present to answer questions. And so I feel real comfortable talking to citizens, and if you have something you can prove or some documentation, share it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mackey. Dr. Highlander?
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, I'm going to ask you a question, or maybe any of my other fellow board members. The statement was made that the sheriff, this is a last minute thing from the sheriff. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought 2 weeks ago in the agenda session, we discussed this $3 million grant, as we do prior on most things 2 weeks ahead of time. And the sheriff laid out the plan of what it was going to be used for. And it was not thrown on us today. We're not making a last minute decision. I'm speaking of this body. Am I incorrect, or did we not deliberate on this 2 weeks ago?
I believe you are correct, sir.
Okay, that was my concern. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Commissioner Graham?
Thank you. I was going to actually echo what Commissioner Highlander just said. Also, the young lady that called me out in the audience, she doesn't live in District 11. She lives in Orchard Knob. I had a death in my family when we were supposed to meet anyway, so I called and had to reschedule. But I also recommended her to reach out to the commissioner for that district, and I'm assuming today by her response, she didn't do that. Did she, Commissioner? No. Okay. But I don't represent her in Orchard Knob, and I don't want to step on anybody else's district, but I would be happy to meet with anybody that wants to meet with me, except for that particular time I had a death in our family. I just want to clear the record up. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Eversole?
Yeah, I want to echo some of what my peers have said. I'm pretty proud of this group up here. I think this group asked a lot of tough questions, and we're voting today, but 2 weeks ago, this issue came up. I was a part of the conversation. As a matter of fact, I was a part of the conversation when Sheriff Garrett called to see if I had any questions about the resolution. So tough questions are being asked. And I appreciate, because every penny matters, that comes in front of this board and making sure it's being used correctly and wisely. And like some of my peers, I've had conversations with the sheriff, and I'm not going to speak on his behalf, but I feel comfortable that we don't have a rogue sheriff out there just pulling people over. I know that for a fact. We've got a sheriff's department that is into law and order. They're pulling over the lawbreakers, and they're making decisions based off of that, off the offense and so forth. And I applaud what our sheriff's office is doing. It's not a department; it's an office, since it's an elected official office. So I do appreciate what the sheriff's office and his team are doing in our community, and I feel comfortable that, and what I'm hearing, and people are telling me that our sheriff's office is not initiating things like this. So I just want to make sure that everybody understood it from my point. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Eversole. No more lights? No one else standing? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Baker?
Yes.
Commissioner Chauncey?
Yes.
Commissioner Eversole?
Yes.
Commissioner Graham?
Yes.
Dr. Highlander?
Yes.
Dr. Mackey?
Yes.
Commissioner Sharp?
Yes.
Commissioner Shipley? Chairman Helton?
Yes, resolution passes. That takes us to Public Works and Zoning. Commissioner Highlander, I think you've got 4 or 5.
Several here. Yes, sir. Madam Clerk, would you read 726-22, please?
Resolution 726-22, a resolution accepting the bids of All States Coatings Company, Crown USA, Inc., Ennis Flint, Inc., and the Sherwin-Williams Company for one-year contract unit pricing with the option to renew for 2 additional one-year terms for highway traffic paint for the Highway Department, and authorizing the county mayor to sign any contracts necessary to implement this resolution.
We've got a motion to approve. Do we have a second? Second. So moved. Roll call,
Motion.
please.
Motion by Commissioner Shipley, or Commissioner Mackey, second by Commissioner Baker. I couldn't understand.
Roll call,
Roll
please,
call.
Commissioner Baker?
Yes.
Commissioner Chauncey?
Yes.
Commissioner Eversole?
Yes.
Commissioner Graham?
Yes.
Dr. Highlander?
Yes.
Dr. Mackey?
Yes.
Commissioner Sharp?
Yes.
Commissioner Shipley? Chairman Helton?
Yes. Motion passes.
Thank you. Chairman, with your approval, before the next resolution is read, I would like to have some input from the mayor and also from the attorney. Is that permissible, sir?
Let's read the resolution.
I'll read the resolution first and then have the mayor, and I've got a question for the attorney. But I think it's important that we get the discussion even before we have our vote. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Please read 726-23.
Resolution 726-23, a resolution approving and authorizing a moratorium on data centers in the unincorporated areas of Hamilton County, Tennessee.
Second.
Now,
Motion by Commissioner Johnson, second by Commissioner Graham.
Now, if we could, please, Mr. Mayor, I would appreciate if you could give us an explanation, and then I've got a question or two for the attorney.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I think that'd be helpful given the community conversation here. I just wanted to clarify my intent. Several of us met on the courthouse lawn, talked about this moratorium before it was introduced. We presented a one-year moratorium that was quite restrictive in its nature, given the level of megawatts. What we talked about was a one-year period in which the county planning department would make recommendations working alongside this body to, frankly, I think is the consensus of many of us, to prevent data centers from being built in this county where we don't think that they are appropriate, but doing that through the creation of restrictive zoning code. So that's, as we've studied this, that's what we said a couple weeks ago. We believe that is the proper path forward. Legally, this body has the ability to put a moratorium in place as long as it takes to address that. I'll defer to the county attorney to explain specifically what she sees as the best path forward. But as we clarified, several of us on the courthouse lawn a couple weeks ago, this moratorium is meant to give time for us to put in place more permanent zoning code changes that, if I'm influencing them, are going to be designed to prevent data centers. I don't think data centers are appropriate for this county. Land's being eaten up as it is. And Claire McVeigh and I had a meeting in the last week with the new CEO of TVA, had a very constructive conversation about how TVA sees data centers fitting into their ability to provide power. And even that conversation aligned with what we believe to be the best use of land here. And that is not for data centers to be built here. But I know that there's been public interest in an extended moratorium or a quote unquote ban. That is not statutorily possible. And again, I'll let the county attorney here in a second clarify, that point, but also answer your question, Dr. Highlander. We just wanted to be clear that the 1 year wasn't just 1 year and then there would be data centers built. No. The 1 year was specifically to create a timeline on which the county planning department would work with this body to make zoning code changes, to make it very difficult to, if not impossible, but to do that legally. In fact, my concern would be that if we simply extend the moratorium and do not make the zoning code changes, that would be a shaky legal path forward and we could be sued. And ironically, you could end up with a data center. This 1 year path will allow us to enact zoning code changes, though, that would be permanent and would stand up to any legal challenge.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I too, like the mayor, I was at the mayor's meeting and most of us have tremendous concerns about the power usage, the water usage, the cost of prices going up. Many of us are very, very, very concerned. The mayor is, I am, many of us are. But we have to do this in a legal and a proper manner. And I know there's one county that's made a permanent ban, but they very likely may lose that challenge in court. We don't want to lose. We want to have control and be able to control our own destiny on these. Madam Attorney, would you express us your legal opinion on what we should do and why we should do it to make sure, maybe to back the mayor, me, or whatever you think is legally proper? Please, ma'am.
Thank you. So I guess addressing this first with a longer moratorium question. Courts typically don't like sweeping moratoriums like this that limit the decisions of landowners on how they use their land. And so when a county puts in a moratorium, it has to be very specific as to its purpose, and it should be the least amount of time necessary to achieve that purpose. So arguably, the year moratorium here is a reasonable enough time to at least begin the process of going through comprehensive evaluations of data centers, plus the potential economic impacts. But I would strongly discourage today making this any longer than 1 year. That's not to say that if 11 months into this, we're still not certain we have all the information that we need, that we couldn't then extend it. So then the question of, as you mentioned, Commissioner, a county putting in a permanent ban, that's Hawkins County. And that is against the law. This body does not have the ability to put in a permanent ban just by majority vote. It's called the County Zoning Act. And what's required is any sort of sweeping amendments to the zoning regulations have to go before the RPC, the Regional Planning Commission. They have to go through certain rigorous evaluations, and they have to be subject to several public notice requirements. And so any decision by a body to permanently ban a data center today would not be void, and it would be unenforceable, in my opinion.
Thank you, ma'am. We have a couple of questions from the commissioners, then we'll have public input for up to 3 minutes each for a total of 10 minutes. But let me reiterate, if I may, ma'am, what you said. If we do not have this at a place that we feel like is proper, the mayor, the commission, and the group, and the county feels like it's proper, at, say, 11 months, we could then come back and properly extend it to a longer time if needed. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Can we have a couple of lights?
Commissioner Eversole.
Thank you. Attorney Barnell, thank you for all the work
Yes.
and appreciate the communication that you, and the diligence that you put into this. I want us, this has got to be something that we have a victory with. This can't be something that we fight and lose. I am not a fan of. 2 weeks ago, I'm the one that said, why is it only a year? Why can't it be more? And another county did it, put a permanent ban. And that's where the county attorneys said, no, we don't want to lose like Hawkins County looks like they're going to lose. So thank you for keeping us in
Yes.
check. I do appreciate that. I like what the mayor's doing, and we're trying to put some things in place through the zoning process to prevent it in the future. And that's the right approach to do that. But and keep in mind, in a year, in 11 months, if we don't have this thing down, I'm going to be the first one that's going to extend it another year because we've got to make sure this thing is right. So I'm going to be a pro support to get this thing done right so that we don't get a data center in unincorporated part of Hamilton County. So thank you for digging in on that, Attorney.
Well, I think in the spirit of transparency, it would also be wise, since we've studied further what's possible, what's not possible, there seems to be a consensus. I certainly hear a majority of y'all want to prevent these from being built in our county. I agree with that. I think 6 months from now, whether that's just a request of the clerk or we'll all put a calendar reminder on, I think we ought to revisit it publicly 6 months from now, see if we're tracking towards the progress. And at that point, halfway there, don't even wait till the 11-month mark, but then, punt out further if we need to. Because I do think as long as we've got a defensible explanation of how we are working towards a permanent code change. And the good thing here, to your point, Commissioner Eversole, is this is not going to be a 3-year solution. I mean, I've heard from some folks who want to see a 3-year moratorium or 5-year moratorium. That's not what I would like for the outcome to be. I would like for the outcome to be permanent zoning code changes that until a future commission would go through the process of trying to reverse it, would not make it possible to build data centers. They're not a good fit. And again, heard that echoed from the highest levels of TVA over the last week. But I think it'd be helpful so that this conversation doesn't fall to the wayside from the public's perspective. We're going to work diligently on it. I think it's something, really good opportunity. Commissioner Eversole, you're part of creating that county planning department. So we should talk about who specifically from the commission, wants to work on a, month-to-month basis with the county planning department. And we could even, within that 6 months, give an update to the commission on progress we're making.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Commissioner Mackey?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, how many data centers exist in Hamilton County right now?
It's my understanding that there are 3 right now.
I was really pleased to see the mayor bring this resolution forward because my daughter wanted me to bring something forward relative to data centers. But before doing so, is it hysteria or is it fact that these data centers are detrimental to communities where they're located?
That's a question for me, Dr. Mackey.
Anyone?
Okay, it's my understanding that they are. The research that I have done showed that they use a tremendous amount of electricity, which frightens me. They use a tremendous amount of water, which also frightens me. And in addition, we could have brownouts, we could have water shortages, or we could have much higher rates. And that's what I've seen in other parts of the country. And I don't think we want that. I don't want that for Hamilton County myself. But I think what we're doing is we're studying it. We're getting absolute, you and I were both educators. And we tried to look at the background and see what we needed to do to educate the young people. We need to educate ourselves on this and go into this with knowledge, not with ignorance. We need to go, and I think in 6 months, as the mayor said, we should be able to know a whole lot more. And I'm like Commissioner Eversole, I fully do not want it. And if we're not ready 8, 9, 10, 11 months, he said he would make the motion. I'll second him real fast. Because I don't want it if it's not going to be good. We've got time to look at it now and act out of knowledge, not ignorance.
Mr. Chairman, about a year ago, right across the street where the jail used to be, did we say there was going to be a data center there?
It's my understanding that there is a very small one there. It's not, that is correct. I think we may have acted before we knew, but I understand, it's my understanding that it's a very small one.
Thank you.
That's
Commissioner
my
Graham?
understanding. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I truly appreciate the mayor bringing this forward as well. As my fellow commissioners have said, that if we don't have this nailed down in 11 or 12 months, I fully intend to support this for another year. I think this is very critical that we get this right. And there's too many unknowns with this. But I also have a question for the attorney, if that's all right. So if we don't do this properly, this moratorium, what are the consequences?
So there's actually a case that the Tennessee Supreme Court decided earlier this year involving Grundy County, where their commission, it wasn't a ban on data centers, but it was a ban on rock quarries and rock crushers within a certain distance of schools and churches and things like that. And they passed a resolution that permanently banned those. And the court ruled that it was unenforceable and void, and they were assessed costs.
So the consequences is it reverses that? Is that what it is?
Yes.
So they're allowed to do it because they went about it the wrong way legally. So see, it's even that much more important that we do this by the book and we do it going forward by the book. So we get all our I's dotted and our T's crossed, and we make sure that we protect Hamilton County in a way that's never been protected before with these data centers. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Sharp?
Thank you. I'm good.
Okay. That's it.
Okay. We've had a motion and a second, but I would like to now let the community have up to 3 minutes each. I will say, I think most of you realize that your commissioners are not in favor of this either.
10 minutes total.
Pardon me? 10 minutes total. 10 minutes total.
My name is Carter Dempsey. I live on Harrison Bay Road. Mr. Mackey, as you asked, or Dr. Mackey, I apologize. I do believe they are detrimental to any area they've been put in. Tennessee is already struggling. We're 46th in power reliability, 42nd in power efficiency, and 29th highest in price. We're paying more than we should for subpar service already. Mm-hmm. If you look at the data centers that are in Nashville, or Memphis, I'm sorry, they're having brown water come out of their pipes, and that center's not been there 6 months. Mm-hmm. Virginia is the world leader in data centers, and over 25% of the power in their state is now going to data centers. Their entire state is struggling because they didn't handle this process the right way. So I am glad to see the mayor and all of you going in the direction of this is not what we want for the county. Tennessee led the nation in power outages during Winter Storm Fern with 345,000. Wow. And we have the ability with the Tennessee River and like places like Oak Ridge to make more hydropower, to make more nuclear power, to build the infrastructure to make this possible here if we can't stop it as residents. But I do believe that it'll be not only detrimental to the infrastructure, but detrimental to the residents of the state if this isn't handled properly. So I thank you for your consideration, and thank you for listening to me yap for a minute.
Thank you.
All of you. I wish all of you luck on the 6th.
Thank you, sir. Next. Name.
Nathan Griffin,
address, please.
5500 Hidden Oaks Lane. Good evening, commissioners. My speech has gone kind of a little bit different. I'll be quick too, because I know everybody else wants to talk. Thank you to County Attorney Varnell for giving that information. It's very helpful. Thank you, Dr. Highland and Eversol for your leadership on this as well. I came here to urge for a longer, more than a year moratorium on the data center developments. More importantly, I would like to see the collaboration with the city of Chattanooga as well, not just unincorporated Hamilton County. So we do need to speak to the whole county as a whole. Do know data center developers often negotiate with local officials under non-disclosure agreements, which cuts the public out of decisions that will affect the water, power, land, quality of life for decades for us. And rushing into these agreements have proven harmful elsewhere, and we should not repeat those. I had other examples, won't go over those, but again, just want to make sure that Hamilton County and Chattanooga, take the time to evaluate the needs of the citizens, avoid any kind of litigation from developers, from the citizens as well. And again, urge, would like to see a longer moratorium, but if we can find another means to be more strict, then that's great too. Just again, to fully understand, communicate the findings to us. More importantly, just to see how it also plays across the country, because I know local communities, everybody's dealing with this right now. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker, please. Name and address, please.
Noah Johnson, 302 Northgate Mall, Unit 112, Hickson, District 3. I've got a mix of questions and comments. I know this is not an opportunity for dialogue, and so just imagine the questions as rhetorical, I suppose. I think what I understood a county attorney to say there was that maybe there is perhaps possibility of a permanent moratorium if it first passes through the scrutiny of Regional Planning Commission. Which is the mistake that was made by the other county that tried to do that, maybe is what I understood. So that's something I would love to hear more conversation about, to get clarification. The other thing that I guess you could call a rhetorical question is that I heard Mr. Chairman say that there are 3 as of now in Hamilton County, and I'm wondering if you understand those to be in unincorporated. They're in the city. So there's maps online that kind of track the development of data centers. And my understanding was that there's only one currently in the city of Chattanooga. And then there's the one that might be going in Jailhouse Studio. So that's news to me. Thank you for bringing that up. Jailhouse Studio project, was something that I was pretty passionate about and spoke about here on multiple occasions. 10,000 square foot data center going in. I suppose the technicality of that is that it's city ordinance that'll handle what happens in that county building. At least that's what I would assume is the case. Perhaps the county building is considered unincorporated because the county owns it. I don't know. Probably not. Okay, and then what I'm worried about happening here moving forward is that we're going to get a lot of technical input from the technical specialists that are going to be talking to you all about this moving forward. And I really appreciate that, but I fear that we will be told that technically we can afford the implementation of data centers here in Hamilton County, which is not necessarily addressing public opinion. I do think both need to be taken into consideration. And so I would love for this body to explore opportunities for a popular referendum to decide this issue of the moratorium and let the people decide whether or not they want data centers here in unincorporated Hamilton County. If that can't be the case, I would love to see the new planning department put together a public outreach program that rivals Plan Hamilton and blows it out of the water and is even more inclusive of the public opinion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker, please. You got 4.5 minutes left for the 2 of you.
Thank you. My name's Dave Hood. I'm in District 11. I'm in Alabama Avenue in St. Elmo. And I'm the chairperson of the Sierra Club here in Southeast Tennessee. I just want to say, this has been a big issue. I'm sure y'all have seen across the news, even in Tennessee, Memphis has had a big to do with the XAI data center. Nashville just recently with the one near the zoo. I like what I hear so far from the mayor, from the commissioners, that there's pretty much sentiment against the data center going in Hamilton County. I would say the only thing I would change as far as what Mayor Wamp just said is maybe we could look at going 4 months instead of 6 months. Kind of be a little more urgent with it. We could maybe do like a 4-month thing with the report, have a public meeting, like the last gentleman said, have some kind of a forum or something, at least on that, where the public could come in and put the input. There'd be some kind of report already set up. And a task force, I know there's been some talking with TVA, different stakeholders, different players in this area. I think that would be good to have a task force and have the county commission work with that and the mayor. Other than that, I also want to mention Sierra Club has formed a statewide task force to study this issue. So I want to offer that to everybody here as far as a resource. We have a lot of good people across the state that are just volunteers. We only have 2 staff statewide, but we have a lot of people that worked for the Department of Energy, attorneys, UT professors that have some good knowledge on this stuff. So I'm putting that out there to make that available. Anybody that wants to access that, glad to share it with you.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Okay, young lady, you're up. You've got a little over 2 minutes, ma'am.
My name's Terry Tooley. I live at 1005 East Dallas Road in Chattanooga. I wanted to thank the commissioners for voting this past March, to change your meeting time from 9:30 in the morning to the current 5 p.m. We appreciate that you listened to us about our concerns regarding the 9:30 morning time. Meeting time, as it prevented a wider cross-section of your constituents from attending. So thank you for that. Public input is really important to us, so thank you. It's good progress. As the 2 previous gentlemen said, I'm echoing what they're saying, is that I ask you to listen to your constituents and have some public information forums that would abide by civil guidelines of interaction, that we would, follow Robert's rules, and it would not be a shouting match. I think that would be really helpful for y'all too, because a lot of things get, there's a lot of talk going on and people don't understand what y'all are discussing. So if you could update us with some regularly scheduled forums, and I think that would take a lot of pressure and stress off of you and off the public. Thank you very much.
Thank
you. Dr. Mackey.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I was going to wait until we made our announcement, but Ms. Tooley, in light of what she said, I need to make my comment. I was one of those who did not want to change the time from 9:30 to the evening, but I have noticed over time, not only the participation, but the quality of the comments from the public is outstanding. And we're listening and we appreciate you all bringing your opinions to us and telling us where you think we may not be right. So thank you all. Thank you, everybody.
Sir, normally we get in line, sir, but we do have 48 seconds left if you would like to, if you can do it in 48 seconds.
Absolutely. Just want to echo off what they were saying.
Your name, sir?
My name is Andrew McCormick, 501 Highview Circle, Chattanooga, Tennessee. Data centers will poison Tennessee's water, our ecosystems, our fish. It'll kick people out of neighborhoods. It'll push them out of neighborhoods. If y'all have ever been in Memphis before, you can hear the data centers. You can see the brown water. So I encourage anybody that is for data centers to go drink that water in Memphis and let me know what you think. So alas. And also, this is my first time ever being in a hearing. So thank you guys.
Thank you, sir. You may have some northern blood in you. You spoke fast enough. So,
no more lights.
No more lights. We're ready for the vote, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Baker?
Yes.
Commissioner Chauncey?
Yes.
Commissioner Eversole?
Yes.
Commissioner Graham?
Yes.
Dr. Highlander?
Yes.
Dr. Mackey?
Yes.
Commissioner Sharp?
Yes.
Commissioner Shipley? Chairman Helton?
Yes.
Data center pass.
It passes.
Okay, Madam Clerk, if you would read 726-24.
Resolution 726-24, a resolution to rezone from R1 Single Family Residential District, R2A Rural Residential District, and C2 Local Business Commercial District to C3 General Business Commercial District for the properties located at 8138 Standiford Gap Road and an unaddressed tract of land in the 8100 block of Standiford Gap Road.
Move to approve.
We have, would the commissioner of this district like to make a comment before the public does?
I would like to, yes. The applicant, excuse me, on this specific thing, Commissioner Eversole and I had a community meeting. The feedback was overwhelmingly against rezoning this piece of property. They understand that the applicant has certain rights to develop some residences there, but they did not want storage units. And I stand to, I'm going to stand behind that. Thank you.
Okay. Are there any other lights from the commission before I call Mr. Janeway?
No.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Chauncey?
Chairman, I want to remove my second.
Recuse.
Is it too late to remove my second?
No.
Remove my first.
He was to remove his motion.
Okay. It's removed.
Mr.
Graham?
Chairman, the only reason I voted a motion was so I could vote no. If we vote no, it takes this out of play for at least a year. So if we bring it to the floor and then we turn it down, they can't come back and reapply until after a year.
Commissioner Chauncey, what say you?
My apologies. I kind of spoke out of, so I wanted the chairman to make the motion initially, but I spoke out of turn, but I will, given what Commissioner Graham said, I'll keep my first.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
We have a few lights.
Okay. Whose lights do we have, sir?
Commissioner Eversole.
Commissioner Eversole.
Yeah, I thought this item was pulled at our last meeting.
I thought it was as well.
When
but
it announced that this
Mr.
item
Janeway,
was pulled
can
from.
you address that for us? I thought it was.
So my understanding, the attorney could correct me, but my understanding is that since this was legally advertised as a zoning request, the applicant has requested a withdrawal, but I believe that this body has to take action on that.
Madam Attorney, do we need to vote on this action or vote on the withdrawal? Which one do we need to do, ma'am?
I believe this body needs to take action on the withdrawal.
Okay. So we will need to, do I hear a motion to accept the builder's motion to withdraw?
We have a motion on the table
But
already.
if it's an improper motion, would this supersede that motion, ma'am?
I believe Mr. Janeway is right in that we need to take action on the motion, on the applicant's request to withdraw.
And so that would supersede what we just did.
I'll make the motion to approve it, to withdraw it.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
A second.
Second?
No.
So we move to withdraw at the developer's request.
I don't believe the developer's here. I do have an email that they request a withdrawal.
Yeah.
No action on the motion.
And they did make that request at the zoning committee also, zoning commission also.
I don't recall them being here 2 weeks ago, but I do have an email from their engineer requesting withdrawal.
It's my understanding of rules and procedure that if they make the request, then we need to honor that first and foremost. We have a motion to withdraw, a second. So unless I'm incorrect, Madam Attorney, we need to have a vote on that, their withdrawal.
Commissioner Eversole, are you? did you
No,
have another
I-
comment. Okay, no more lights.
Okay.
Roll call on the withdrawal.
Commissioner Baker?
Yes.
Commissioner Chauncey?
Yes.
Commissioner Eversole?
Yes.
Commissioner Graham?
Yes.
Dr. Highlander?
Yes.
Dr. Mackey?
Yes.
Commissioner Sharp?
Yes.
Commissioner Shipley? Chairman Helton?
Yes.
Since the people are here and expressed, I think we need to take the time to let them have up to 10 minutes to express their feelings on this. If you would, please give your name and address. And keep in mind, there are quite a few people wanting to talk, so make it as brief as possible. It's a
Thank you.
10-minute total.
Name's Robert Gore, 2709 Autumn Chase Road, right across from the big wall of dirt that we look at. I look at outside of my kitchen window every single morning. I moved here about 24 years ago and have been disappointed and concerned with the government's lack of action to take care of people on the road. To me, it's crazy. There's no free driver's ed. I know this is not about that, but there's no rumble strips between opposing lanes, and I'll show you why this all ties in. And the roads are very skinny and they're high traffic and they're curvy roads. Our population has averaged about 1% growth per year since moving here 24 years ago. That population basically grew about over 20%. Have the roads that are going in front of all this, have they grown 20%? No. We basically put lipstick on a pig. We paint the roads, we paint new little lanes, but they don't make them any wider. Just recently on Standifer Gap, they put a whole bunch of gravel there that's supposed to make it a little bit wider and safer. That's all eroded into the ditches. We've got almost every day I have to beep at someone going down these skinny roads right in front of that area that wants to get more commercial to get over in their lanes. If you look at people coming at you, you can see 1/3 of them are looking at their phones or something. Commercial trucks, semis, and trailers cannot stay in just their lanes because there's not enough pavement, especially around these curves. And if they want to make this commercial, it's going to make it even worse. Smartphones have caused more distracted drivers. More citizens are walking and biking on these roads than ever before. It's already difficult to get all the subdivisions, and that commercial area is going to make it even worse. To
Sir,
me,
we're running. We've got several other people. If you could
Okay.
kind of tie it up.
one quick solution I'd like to see is rumble strips between every passing lane, opposing lane.
Thank you, sir. Name and address, please, ma'am.
My name is Pam Standifer Potter. I live on 6 acres at 8024 Standifer Gap Road. I also own 3 additional acres between my property and this property. My biggest concern with this development and making this commercial is that this is on a steep hillside. It is where Mackey Branch comes into Standifer Gap Road. It is a flooding area. He has left this dirt. We're already having problems in the past 2 years since the tornado. This is the area the tornado came through. This community has tried to been rebuilding for 5 years. And it's almost like an insult to have all of this property stripped completely down to the ground and left looking like it does. And now Mackey Branch is getting worse, more water because there is no greenery or anything to absorb it. And my property has flooded twice in the past 2 years when it has never flooded. I've been in this house 50 years. It's never flooded before. So we need to make sure that zoning regulations will take care of also basically, I mean, Mackey Branch is an important waterway through Hamilton County. It goes through our parks, our kids play in it. And I think that it needs to be taken into consideration when you're looking at putting concrete over 22 acres of property.
Thank you, ma'am. Next, name and address, please.
This up here. Hi, my name is Emily Mancuso. I live at 8915 Potomac Drive, which is right off of Standifer Gap. I hope you've received the information that myself, and other neighbors have sent regarding everything that we could publicly find about this developer and their plans. If you don't, I have another copy here to submit. I just want to say that I understand that growth is inevitable, but it should be transparent and compatible with existing neighborhoods and respectful of the people who already live here. What concerns me is the pattern we've seen with this project. In January 2025, the developer submitted a TDEC land disturbance permit describing this site as a park construction and a recreational park development. That's what most residents were under the impression was going to happen here. Then in May of 21st of this year, there was a community meeting and residents were told it was either going to be dense commercial C3 or dense residential zoning or residential houses, up to 80 houses on that spot. I later learned that C3 rezoning was submitted in March, so the developer didn't disclose that during that meeting. This developer now has 2 separate land parcels where development has raised concerns regarding Mackey Branch, making it especially important that this proposal receive careful oversight. It's also worth noting that both this property and the Holly Hills property were heavily impacted by the 2020 Easter tornado. Our community has spent years watching our neighborhoods trying to recover. That history makes it even more important that the future development reflects the character of this community and the long-term interests of our residents. So I ask that all of you as commissioners consider not only what can legally be built here, because I'm sure that they will try to go for residential high-impact zoning, but also consider, increasing traffic, our terrible infrastructure, the stormwater management, and the long-term health of Mackey Branch. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Oh, can you take that?
Name and address, please, ma'am.
I'm short. Nancy Henderson, 2709 Autumn Chase Drive. I'm right across the street from this development. A few days before Christmas in 2010, the speeding driver of a minivan lost control in a curve on Standifer Gap Road near this property and hit me head on. The impact knocked my car down an embankment and broke my neck in 3 places. I could see the driver spinning toward me, but I had nowhere to go to get out of the way. Since then, and before my accident, I have seen numerous vehicles crashed into the ditches that flank Standifer Gap, including one last Thanksgiving in front of the very property in question here. There are no shoulders. Distracted drivers frequently cross the center line, leaving the rest of us nowhere to go but in a ditch or worse. This particular stretch of roadway cannot handle dense commercial development, but it cannot handle dense residential development either. And that's what I'm afraid of at this point. I don't want you to underestimate this developer. He told us smugly at the community meeting in May, to our faces, 100 or so of us, if this wasn't rezoned for C3, he would just build as many houses as possible there. I mean, he essentially said that to us. Please make sure that proper safety conditions are imposed before any type of development proceeds at this site. Dense development there is just incompatible with the neighborhood. It's incompatible with the environment and the traffic, which this narrow 2-lane road can barely accommodate as it is. It is dangerous, and it's going to cost someone their life. It almost cost me mine. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please. Name and address, please, ma'am.
Jan Ditzer, 2413 Wood Thrush Drive. I live in Quail Run, which is right off of Standifer Gap. I pass that big ugly dirt hill at least 4 or 5 times a day. I've heard every song and dance that this guy has come up for development. But the thing that concerns me the most, he's got, and Mr. Janeway, I may be incorrect, but does he still have?
Just address the commission, if you would, please, ma'am.
There should be a moratorium on him for violating some of the regulations. He still has not addressed erosion control on that site. And it's a tremendous slope of, I would say, 20 to 25 degrees. He did not address anything on the upper slopes. He just addressed the bottom of it. Meanwhile, you've got gullies with all these rains that we've had. They're at least 18 inches deep, carrying more debris into that stormwater runoff alongside Standifer Gap Road. And I'd really like to see somebody do something to make him adhere to what he should be doing.
Thank you, ma'am.
You have a lot from Commissioner Chauncey.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Chairman. I just wanted to go back to and just formally withdraw my first motion, since there was a motion on the table.
Good.
I don't know if
Commissioner Graham.
Commissioner Graham needs to do the same.
Yeah, I need to formally withdraw my motion, but also, since I have the floor for a minute, I saw Todd Lehman writing this down. You know, our stormwater people will check into that erosion control, will they not?
I believe currently he's got a stop work order. He also has a corrective action plan with TDEC, so he does have some violations related to erosion sediment.
So that'll be looked at. That's
Yes,
already
sir.
being looked at.
Yes, sir.
The other thing is that when we voted to withdraw this or allow him to withdraw this, I want the general public to know that that process just opened the door for him to be able to apply again tomorrow or this afternoon, for that matter.
Right.
If we would have voted to deny it, that would have given you a year reprieve to allow that to not have anything done to it for a year with the zoning. So if this comes up again, you might want to think about whether we want this developer to withdraw or do we want this developer to be denied? Because in this particular case, a deny of action would have been stronger than actual withdrawal, because now he's back at plan 0. So he can do whatever he wants to do, good or bad. I'm not saying this developer is a bad person. I don't know this person. I'm just listening to what you all are saying. And a withdrawal was good, but not as good as it could have been today. So keep your eyes open for that.
Madam
And then
Attorney.
contact us about the erosion.
Sorry, Commissioner.
Coach Highlander. Commissioner Eversole has a lot.
Okay. Commissioner Eversole.
Yeah, just to wrap it up, I appreciate the residents coming speaking. I think withdrawal is the best of the two. He can come back tomorrow, but I think we all know what he can come back with as far as commercialize it again, then we'll have to vote on it. I don't think we got the support for him to do that because it goes against the current Plan Hamilton. He does have the options to build homes on it, but at least in this case, you know, if he wants to commercialize again, he has to come back to us again. And I think this is the best case scenario. So thank you for coming out and speaking. That's what we need more citizens to do.
And I too appreciate your coming out, and I think you realize that the vast majority of the commissioners are with you, but the proper procedure, a developer has the right to withdraw. We cannot deny his right to withdraw. Am I correct, Ms. Attorney? A developer can withdraw, and we can't supersede his withdrawal. Mr. Janeway, am I correct?
Are you directing your question at me or Mr.
Either
Janeway?
of you.
The commission needed to act on their request to withdraw. Yes.
Okay, that was my understanding. Mr. Janeway, will you
Yeah,
wind
just,
this up,
I
sir?
wanted to add a little more context, and I explained this at Planning Commission, but this developer actually lost his contractor's license about halfway through this project. And we've been doing everything we can on the enforcement side, including he's racked up about a $22,000 fine on the property. And he's also disturbed some floodway that we're going to make him correct. So I just want to assure the commission and the public that we're doing everything we can to make sure that the situation is rectified.
Thank you, sir. Would you read the next, please, ma'am? That would be, yeah, 726-25, please.
Resolution 726-25, a resolution to rezone from A1 Agricultural District to C2 Local Business Commercial District for the property located at an unaddressed property in the 10,000 block of East Brainerd Road.
Okay, we move to approve. Is there a second?
Chairman Highlander,
Yes.
if I could interrupt really
Yes, sir.
quickly, the applicant has asked for a 3-month deferral on this. My understanding is you don't have to grant that, but the applicant is here if you would like them to explain it.
Okay, if the applicant would like to speak, we'll have him come up.
Second. We need a motion and second.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Move to defer.
Move to defer. Do we want to hear the developer first?
We need a motion, right?
Second on the deferral.
Okay, we've got a motion deferred. We have a second. We have a second. So, sir, you're going to get what you want without having to discuss it. So let's call for the vote, please.
We need a date certain.
Pardon me?
He asked for 3 months. Could you give us a calendar date, please?
Got to be at an agenda meeting. Oh, no, it doesn't. It's got a regular meeting.
September the 2nd.
Yeah, voting meeting, sorry.
September the 2nd.
Move to defer to
September the 16th. No. 3 months. We need 3 months. So October the 21st. That'd be the
21st.
last meeting in October.
So
Yeah.
moved.
Okay. Moved, is that acceptable to you, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then we'll call for the roll call, please.
Commissioner Baker?
Yes.
Commissioner Chauncey?
Yes.
Commissioner Eversol?
Yes.
Commissioner Graham?
Yes.
Dr. Highlander?
Yes.
Dr. Mackey? Absent. Commissioner Sharp?
Yes.
Commissioner Shipley? Chairman Helton?
Yes.
And you'll take note of that date for us, will you, Madam Clerk?
I will. I'll get it on the calendar.
Thank you, ma'am. Madam Clerk, if you would read 726-26, please.
Resolution 726-26, a resolution to rezone from R1 Single Family Residential District to A1 Agricultural District for the property located at 8926 Hickson Springs Road.
Okay, move to approve. Do we have a second? Second. Okay. Sure. No public comment? No lights? Okay. Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Baker?
Yes.
Commissioner Chauncey?
Yes.
Commissioner Eversol?
Yes.
Commissioner Graham?
Yes.
Dr. Highlander?
Yes.
Dr. Mackey? Commissioner Sharp?
Yes.
Commissioner Shipley? Chairman Helton?
Yes.
That concludes Public Works and Zoning. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Highlander. Community and Economic Development. Oh, I'm sorry. We are done. I'm sorry. I was reading the wrong one. That, move to announcements. Commissioner Shipley,
No on that.
Commissioner Baker.
Yeah, just real briefly, but very importantly, in the comments before, I just want to say, since I've worked with the sheriff's department since 1999 when it was sheriff's office, sorry. Thank you. Tater kicked my butt. With the sheriff's office since 1999, and I've always had a great experience, but I can't say enough about what a professional group you are today and how much I appreciate that. And I didn't want to jump on with everybody else. I just wanted to say it. So, Chief Deputy, if you'd let the other officers know how much we all appreciate them, it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Dr. Mackey, he is not here. Commissioner Beck is not here. Commissioner Sharp.
I have no announcements.
Commissioner Chauncey.
No announcement.
Commissioner Highlander.
Very briefly, my grandson gave me a little bumper sticker. It said, bad politicians are elected by good people who do not vote. Let me encourage everyone to get out and vote on August 6th.
Commissioner Eversole.
Yeah, two things real quick. Visitor Sebastian, thank you for coming. He's working with his Eagle Scout from Signal Mountain. He called yesterday and interviewed as part of that process, and I invited him today to come and see how the commission works. So thank you for coming out. Appreciate it. Second thing is our next meeting is August the 5th. Y'all know what else is happening on August the 5th? It's first day of school.
Wow.
So you need to think about that, because as you're coming to commission meeting at 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock, school's going to be letting out. So be first day of school. So be careful on the way in and watch out for our kiddies running too. So that's all I got.
Commissioner Graham.
I got a couple of guests in the audience that just left, but I also have a couple of guests. Bob I is a good friend of mine, and he's in the audience, and Katie Burrows is in the audience from our district. So welcome you all. Appreciate you being here. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Attorney Varnell.
Yes, briefly, I was asked to review the trustee's office. They have amended some of their personnel policies. I've done so. I've attached a letter approving those policies, and I would just ask the clerk to add them to the minutes.
Madam Clerk.
Will do, Chairman.
Thank you. Mayor Wamp. I have no announcements. Any public discussion outside of zoning? Name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes.
Hi, my name is Michaela Winter, and I live in District 8. And because there is a World Cup match that I missed the second half of, where Argentina is playing England today, you all know that this is very important to me to be here today. So just putting that out there. This was a really interesting conversation today around the data center moratorium. And what I'm less interested in than a short-term moratorium for some parts of our county that may result in kicking data centers just a few streets over or even a few counties over is, how do community members, local workers, taxpayers in Hamilton County have a meaningful seat at the table in these decisions? That's the question that I'm most interested in, because when the first Oracle data center was approved by this body, I do not feel that community input was meaningfully factored in to that decision. And I know that because we didn't get independent environmental impact studies. We didn't get independent financial analysis around the fact that data centers don't actually pay sales tax in Tennessee if they meet a pretty minimum threshold. So when these projects come into our community, the questions around how much money may we be involuntarily losing at the local level is really important. And I don't think that that question was given due diligence when this data center, no matter the size, went to the incorporated part of Hamilton County. And then the second thing that I just have to say, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention in this room, I texted a few of you some news articles that ICE is at workplaces in Hamilton County. They are, and they're picking up workers from their place of work where they are trying to earn a living. And the result of that is that teachers, caretakers in our community are having to start GoFundMes to support the families that are left behind when these breadwinners are taken. And that's not okay with me, and I hope that it's not okay with any of you. And I hope the next time we have a conversation about this, we can at least acknowledge the reality of what's happening with ICE in Hamilton County.
Name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes.
Noah Johnston, 302 Northgate Mall Drive, Unit 112, Hickson, District 3. So I'm just here to say, in the spirit of all of the anti-data center talk, we're doing this moratorium. We have a lease with Jailhouse Studios that is going to include a data center. I don't know if they've started building it yet, but you all do have the power, I believe, to modify that lease, to pull out of that lease. My understanding was that you all had the power to, at any point, decide, should this not all work out the way that you want it to, that you could modify this lease at the very least. And their words are that it's not the biggest part of the project. It's just kind of a little side part of the project. So I don't think it's going to hurt them at all. I think we're still going to get the jailhouse leased and have that covered and not have that expense of it sitting empty. So I'm just asking you all to really follow up your statements about your concerns with the data centers and the obvious concern of the public by looking at what we can do about that project over there at Jailhouse Studios and seeing if maybe we can prohibit the data center portion of that project until after this moratorium. It's pretty much the only potential data center location within the municipality that seems to me you all actually have power to address. And so I think it would be the right thing for you all to do to prohibit that. And then just talking about the $3 million grant for the sheriff's office got me thinking, if the sheriff's office is having to apply for grants, does that imply that it's underfunded potentially, that they're struggling to fund their operations? Or is that sort of additional money for them and the county budget that they have is enough for what they actually need in the day-to-day? The reason that I ask that is because, if that $3 million is just the cherry on top of the cake, maybe we can take $3 million from their budget and allocate it elsewhere since they were awarded that grant in other areas where we need funding. So with grant programs moving forward, I don't know enough about it. I don't know if that's a possibility. But I would think if this is additional money and they were well funded from the start, then perhaps we can take a little bit from them to put it towards something else where we need it. So anyway, thank you for your time.
Name and address for the record. If this is on data centers, you've got 1 minute.
Part of it. It's
Okay.
two things.
Thank you.
Carter Dempsey, Harrison Bay Road again. I kind of got a little nervous and didn't get everything out I meant to say the first time. So I just, as far as the police department goes, I think we have a fantastic police department in Hamilton County. Yes, do I think some of the things ICE does is inhumane? Of course. But this has been through several administrations at a national level. This is not a new problem. This is something that should have been handled over 10 years ago, and it's just being kicked down the road. It's still, some ICE detention centers are inhumane. I do agree, but that doesn't mean we need to do away with the entire department. The second thing is on the data centers, there's over 60 in the state of Tennessee already that have been either approved or in the process. Hamilton County specifically, over 10 years, or 2016, Hamilton County was zoned 71% low risk residential or agricultural. That number today is 56%. It's not a big change over 10 years, but if we don't do something about it in 10 or 20 more, it's going to be a substantially bigger problem on your constituents than it is today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We have no other business at this time. Our regular meeting is adjourned, and we were going to take a break, but I think we're going to move right on through into the agenda session.
Hang on. He's telling you
When he tells me we can.